Pardon? You can have it. There's nice ones. And the county paid for it, so it's like, you know, 1,600 half dozen of it.
Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, we'll start. Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning, everyone, and welcome to Shawnee County Board of County Commissioners. It's April 13th, 2023. I'm joined on my right by Commissioner Kevin Cook, who represents District 2, and Commissioner Aaron Mays on my left, who represents District 3. I'm Bill Rippon, I represent District 1. We also have County Clerk Cindy Beck on our far left, and Jim Crowell on the far right, who's our County Counselor. What is first on the agenda?
First item is under unfinished business A, consider approval of resolution number 2023-24, establishing Shawnee County Commission districts.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jim Crowell, Shawnee County Counselor. This is our third discussion of this item. I'm not going to go into great detail other than what I'm asking is that the Commission adopt a final resolution that would rebalance the Commission districts as required by KSA 19204 and court decisions that have been rendered interpreting what is required of an entity like ours to redistrict for elections. The map has been created. It has been reviewed by the election office. I worked with mapping and several people to come up with it. I'll be happy to go through what the map does again or answer any questions you might have about this matter.
I might note that we had a hearing last week on this, and I didn't receive any phone calls or messages, emails, or anything. Nothing. So,
I have not either.
okay. Well, then I would move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Next item.
Item 3, consent agenda.
I would move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item 4, new business A, county clerk number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Commissioners, we have a little bit larger voucher this morning than we typically see. It's $3,064,588.92. Some of the highlights out of that, we have Department of Corrections, $356,666.66. That was a payment to our health care for the inmates. Under the Kansas Department of Revenue, $928,881.21. Health Insurance Administration, $328,540.60. Under District Court, which is mostly going to be made up of the court-appointed counsel that we're required to fund, is $110,566.98. Under Building Maintenance, Jayhawk Fire Sprinkler Company, $31,069 for a sprinkler system at the Stormont Vale Event Center. Under County Project and Equipment Fund, two different accounts, Shawnee Mission Ford for $255,421, the purchase of 5 Ford SUVs for the Sheriff's Office. Under the Facilities Management, this is going to be paid with the ARPA SLFRF funds. Minnesota Elevator for $32,954.85 for the update of our elevator at 707 Quincy, and then also paid under Facilities Management, paid with ARPA SLFRF funds, City and Company for $411,166.65 is for courthouse renovation. And then finally, under general expense and Heart of America equipment, Stormontville Event Center is for $73,116.16 for transition costs for the Event Center concession conversion. I don't have any questions regarding the vouchers. Would move for their approval.
Second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item,
Item A2, consider correction orders.
I would move that we approve the correction orders.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item,
Item B, Department of Corrections. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-126-2023, a 3-year agreement with ABC Advertising Agency, Inc., to promote recruitment information for the agency. Total cost of $2,250 will be funded through the 2023 detention budget.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Cole, Shawnee County Department of Corrections. This request comes we were brought to our attention by our HR Director, Angela Lewis, regarding another opportunity for us to recruit or put our name out there for the Department of Corrections and advertise our openings. We reviewed this contract. It would allow us to put flyers and a tabletop announcement at the Blind Tiger. That we are continuing to work with all of our businesses to try to do this, but this was an opportunity that we thought that was, again, just another opportunity for us to continue our campaign, that we've seen success working with our partners, our business partners, and even though we are seeing success, doesn't mean we stop. The contract is a 3-year contract, and reviewing it, it has been reviewed by, for authority and approval and legality by the Jim Crowell's office. And this money is available in our budget, and I would stand for any questions you may have.
this is a tabletop advertisement?
Yep.
What does that look like? Is that,
It's on the table.
Oh,
Like,
wait.
if you're in there, they have on the tables at the restaurant, they have the ads that are printed on the actual
on
table.
the table? It's not like a
Yeah.
placemat, it's on the
Yeah.
table? Okay.
And actually, this came from Commissioner Mays to our HR department for our agencies, and we jumped on it.
Okay.
Commissioner Rippon, if I do the
Yes.
math correctly, it looks like it's $62.50 a month for the
Yes.
3 years.
Yep.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner May, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. As opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item B2, consider approval to purchase two 2020 Durango Pursuit all-wheel drive SUVs from the Kansas Highway Patrol Fleet Sales Program at a cost of $58,700 to be funded through the 2023 capital outlay funds.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Cole, Shawnee County Department of Corrections. Last year, and working with Betty Greiner again this morning, that the Board of County Commissioners approved the Shawnee County Department of Corrections, and I wanted to make there a correction in the memorandum. I thought it was $100,000, but it was actually $90,000 for the Department of Corrections, approved to look at vehicles to upgrade our fleet and to get rid of the older fleet that we use. We use our fleet for transports. We use them to travel, to pick inmates up, to take inmates to treatment. And one of the things that we look at, we work with our partners from the Sheriff's Office, the Police Department, and in the Highway Patrol, that they brought us an announcement of looking at two Dodge Durangos. That we will not be pursuing anybody, so I want to make that's just the type of vehicle it is. But we went out as a team, looked at these vehicles and stuff. They fit our needs. We're able to buy two with the allotted money that we have and even see a savings. Again, we're going to be working with a company about making sure that it is upgraded to safety and security by ACA and for transports of inmates, maybe a cage or some type of barrier. But it still has the remainder of the 5-year, 100,000-mile manufacturer warranty and things like that. But again, before we went out and looked at this, we did meet with Betty. We did go out and look at these vehicles, and they are in good shape. They're excellent shape for us, and we were able to get two for the price of one and still have money left over. So I would stand for any questions you may have.
Any questions? Yes.
Brian, why exactly do we need pursuit-equipped vehicles?
We don't need
for-
pursuit. Basically, that was the type that they had. This will just allow us to, this was the only type they had, and they were going quick. And we thought that this would, even though we're going to be going mostly from the courthouse to the, maybe to Osawatomie, sometimes we drive to other counties. Even though it has the pursuit, in looking at the vehicles, if we wanted to buy this, they'd be twice this. And so these right here, we were able to save the money and get that. But no, you're not going to see the Department of Corrections in any high-speed chase. But if I went out and bought a car that wasn't non-pursuit and it was new, it would cost $40,000.
This is just out of curiosity.
Yes, sir.
These vehicles, just looking at the specifications of them, seem like they'd be better suited for the sheriff's office. Does the sheriff have vehicles that, the sheriff would be able to, because, mainly you're needing transport vehicles.
Yes.
And these vehicles look like they're better for pursuit. Is there a way that we might look at partnering with the sheriff and switching a sheriff's vehicle to Department of Corrections? I'm not questioning the purchase price or the opportunity to purchase. That's not,
We're
but-
certainly, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. We're certainly open for that. We do work with the sheriff's office. I would believe, and until I talk to them, that most of their vehicles are pursuit and things like that. We just saw this as an opportunity when we reached out, and they said, these two are going to go quick, and they gave us the first shot at it. But I'm more than happy to go look to see if there is a possibility of an exchange of stuff. When our staff went out there, our transport, our classification, and our transport staff, they all went out there, they felt that even though they were pursuit, that they did fit our need, that they would be, we wouldn't put as much mileage as quick as these vehicles do, and they would serve it. But I'm more than happy to look at that.
Another alternative might be just your Parks Police Department and what they're driving around, and what maybe we might be looking at
Yeah.
what they have in their fleet, and maybe a Parks Police vehicle would be better suited for a pursuit.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to look at any of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Brian, are these going to come to us? Are they going to be stripped down, or are they going to need to be upfitted after?
We will have to upfit. They're getting their radios out. We will work with emergency management here to get our radios in there and any type of barrier or cages. Since these did not have cages, a barrier between the front seat and the back, as most cars do. So we would have that upgraded. So there's going to be some upgraded costs. And with the savings that we have from the money that was approved to us, which the total cost was, about 60, and we had 90, we have $30,000 to upgrade these vehicles.
Okay, thanks.
Brian, when they say a pursuit vehicle, are they designed differently inside? Are they made for hauling somebody that's been
Oh,
arrested?
yeah, they're able to be for transport, yeah. I think the pursuit, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not savvy about vehicles at all, is that I think it has a different type of an engine or something that would allow them to get up at a certain type of speed to pursue. We're not going to be getting into that, and I don't think it would cost us extra gas and mileage because of the engine or wear and tear or anything like that.
Do you have any idea what the mileage is on
The
49?
Yeah, they were less than 50.
All right. Okay. Any other questions?
I'll move to approve the purchase, but I would ask you to also communicate with other departments to see if there may be vehicles within their fleet that better suit your needs for transport and would better suit their needs for pursuit.
Absolutely,
All right.
absolutely.
Okay. I'll second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Next item. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Item C, Public Works, number 1, consider awarding a bid to Bettis Asphalt and Construction, Inc. of Topeka, Kansas for the election office parking lot repair and related drainage improvement project at a cost of $55,938.93, and authorization and execution of contract C-129-2023 for same. The project will be paid using the Building, Roof, and Parking Lot Fund.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kurt Niehaus, Director of Public Works. Thanks to Audit Finance, we were able to solicit bids for a parking lot project at the election office. As of the closing date on April 5, we received 2 great bids. The low bid was submitted by Bettis Asphalt at approximately $56,000. So I'm here requesting that you approve that bid and authorize and execute a contract for those services. Any questions?
Yeah, is this just an overlay?
What this will involve is some patching, crack sealing, a general seal coat on the surface of the parking lot, striping, And then we added to the project a drainage issue correction on the north side of the building.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
with the start time in May and the end time by the middle of June, is that going to affect any of the operations with the elections office with their election schedule for?
I have worked with the elections office personnel, especially Jake here, and we have assured him that the work will be done by June 30th, which was his request.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, I'll move for approval.
I'll second. Motion's been made by Commissioner Mays, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Next item.
Item C2, consider a request to solicit bids for the construction of approximately 400 linear feet of Southwest Maupin Lane and Southwest 55th Terrace in Timber Ridge subdivision. The construction costs will be paid via a benefit district created this past January by Resolution 2023-8.
Kurt Niehaus, Director of Public Works again. I laid a kind of a plan sheet on your in your area so that you could review this as I talk. This involves 11 lots. The total project cost, including design, construction, interest, administrative fees, is approximately $235,000. With the 11 lots over 20 years, I think that equates to approximately $2,400 a year for the assessment, special assessments. Work will involve placing two 12-foot asphalt lanes and two 2.5-foot wide curb and gutter for the length of as shown here. Again, it's approximately 400 lineal foot. Again, this will all be paid for with benefit district funds. Any questions?
Yes.
The county does have risk in this, don't they?
Yes, I suppose so. I don't know, I don't have a feel for how much. There's probably other people in the room that are better able to speak to that. But yes, there is some risk to Shawnee County.
If we have these as part of the sale of the lots, if the owner of the lot doesn't pay their property tax and it has to go to a foreclosure sale, we lose all of those monies that were into that assessment, right?
Based on previous projects of similar types, benefit district projects, I believe that is true.
So, I mean, we're at risk if these don't get developed.
We don't automatically lose it. It depends on what the property sells for. The property, once it's sold, and Jim, please correct me if I say anything out of turn, the property is sold, the money from the sale goes to property taxes first, before it would go to special assessments. If there's not enough to cover the special assessments, then that is basically forgiven. The new owner starts out fresh and pays from that time on. Is that correct, Jim?
That's generally correct. But I also want to point out that the developer in this case has provided a letter of credit to protect us. So the subdivision must be built out to a certain percentage before that letter of credit will be released. So that's an additional layer of protection that we've built into this process. I will also note that this developer is developing phase 6 of this. We're on phase 6 now. We haven't had any issues with phases 1 through 5. And so I'm comfortable moving forward with this provision. But yes, if there is a tax foreclosure action, it's going to eliminate all taxes, and that's general taxes and special taxes that are due up to the date of the sale. Those will be reimbursed depending on the purchase price. Any special assessments yet due that haven't been placed on the property will still be in existence and come due moving forward. It'll just be any general or special taxes up to the date of the sale, if that makes sense.
Is there a reason why the county would be the one responsible for the construction as opposed to them having a engineer that would come in and do all of those work?
It's a funding mechanism that's available through state law that developers use. It is to bridge the gap on projects where a private developer might not have the wherewithal to fund all of the infrastructure that is needed in a subdivision. So this funding mechanism is available and is commonly used. Since I've been with the county, we haven't been hurt by this situation. I understand the city of Topeka has in a couple of locations when the 2008 recession hit and it affected large numbers of people, real estate developers included on that. But we have always had this letter of credit system in place since I've been here to cover these types of projects. And again, that letter of credit helps cover any costs and only is released once a certain percentage of the subdivision is built out. So it's a marketing thing, and you will see developments where the developer will pay all the costs to keep the costs lower per lot to make them more attractive for buyers. It's a matter of what that developer thinks is going to be the marketable amount. One way to go is this way, with putting some of the infrastructure items in a benefit district and putting special assessments on a lot. If the developer makes a determination that it's still marketable with those assessments, that might be the way to go for that developer. But it's a developer-driven process. It's an owner of the lots-driven petition process, and we're part of it, connected to it in that way by approving the petition, approving the special assessments.
I don't think you have it, but the letter of credit does indicate, it talks about 35% of the lots have to be completed before, we release that letter of credit. So there's a number of criteria in place to protect the county.
Generally speaking, I mean, your 400 linear feet is the road construction that we're looking at. I don't know, a general rule of thumb that gets thrown around is road construction's about $1 million a mile. So this is, do you feel that the 99,600 is going to cover that 400 linear feet is kind of our cost? Is that going to be roughly?
The letter of credit does not cover the total construction costs. I don't know how the letter of credit is established, how that value is established. I don't know if there's others in the room that can help me. I can't answer that question.
And I guess my question is, if everything goes south, I mean, if there's an economic downturn that occurs tomorrow, and these lots sit and do have to ultimately not be developed, what's the county's risk? I mean, what does our letter of credit cover? What would be left potentially as uncovered?
Well, the letter of credit would cover us up to the amount, which is $99,600. I'm not sure what the total amount of special assessments are on this project. And I don't think it's including everything because it says a developer is separately paying for the sanitary sewer. So we're seeking a letter of credit for only certain infrastructure
Just the
pieces.
street construction.
Okay, the street construction. I'm not sure of the total numbers and all of that.
Yeah, I mean, the total cost, again, the total project budget for this street construction, including design, interest, administrative fees, is well over $330,000.
I imagine the letter of credit covers the 35% that it has to be built out.
Very well.
And typically, I think that has been set at that number because if a subdivision does build out to that level, there are good chances that it's going to continue to build out and we're going to be protected. Again, since I've been with the county, I'm not aware of a project like this that we've been hurt on, and I see the clerk shaking her head also.
We've had circumstances where we've actually drawn on the line of credit, drawn on when they've had problems, but not where we've actually, not as bad as, like you said, inside, some of those inside the city limits. They've had worse problems.
Again, bond counsel presented all of this in January, and it was approved, so.
Kurt, this project's already been, there's construction drawings already for this
Yes,
project?
we are complete, and if you approve my request this morning, we will be working with Betty to get this out for bids.
And who paid for all the construction drawings? Is that the owner? Did he pay for that, or is that something that we?
I guess we bond it, and then it's paid back through specials over time.
Okay.
There's interest involved. Ultimately, Shawnee County, if everything works out okay, Shawnee County gets all its money back.
Yeah, we incur all the costs on this. It's in a project fund that we account for all the costs, then bond counsel comes in, bonds it, including interest and all of the administrative costs, and then that's what the special assessments is assessed. The county clerk's office assesses the special assessments.
Okay. And this particular subdivision falls within that 3-mile zone, is that correct?
Yes.
And that's all been approved by city planning, and they're
As far as I know, I mean,
Okay.
that subdivision's work.
already underway.
Yeah,
so-
it was way back when the original subdivision was approved.
All right.
I'll move for approval.
I'll second. Motion's been made by Commissioner May, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kurt. Next item.
Item D, Information Technology, number 1, consider approval of payment for the second year of agreement, contract C 378-2021 with Optiv for the Infinity program to provide a cybersecurity architecture for multiple county systems to include upgrades to the covered software and hardware products and support all covered software and hardware utilizing $169,708 from the 2023 Information Technology budget.
Good morning, Craig Dannenberg, Shawnee County IT. In 2021, the county entered into a 3-year agreement with Optiv, which provides hardware, software, and professional services for IT security. This contract period began in 2022, and this request pays for the second year of the agreement. I'm happy to take any questions.
Questions?
I've got a question maybe for Betty. Since this is the second year of a 3-year agreement, why does this need to come before us to pay the voucher, the invoice? Since we've already
really
agreed to it.
Don't know if is it a contract? I'm sorry.
Yes, it is a contract.
Oh, if it's a 3-year contract, then I don't know why it would need to be on here.
Let's keep that in mind next year. So, I appreciate it. I'll go ahead and.
Generally, if it's a 3-year contract, it would not come back until after that contract expires, and then if they were asking for an extension or something, they would need to come to you, but not for a normal payment that is under the contract.
Okay, all right, that answers that.
We need to approve it.
I'll go ahead and approve it. I'll make the motion to approve it.
I'll second. Were there any questions? Motion's been made by Commissioner May, second by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. Thank you. Next item.
Item E, Audit Finance, number 1, financial report as of March 31, 2023.
Good morning, Betty Griner, Director of Administrative Services. I'm here with the financial update for March 31st of 2023. We will start with revenues. Through March 31st, we received revenues of $65,292,505. That was $462,000 over what we had budgeted, so a positive variance on that. This chart just shows the different categories and how they stack up with each other. I'll go through each one individually. Our first category is property tax revenue. We received $57,444,358. That is $863,947 under what was budgeted. That does amount to less than 1%, 0.97%. So They did come in a little, the first half taxes came in a little lower than we had expected, but that does not mean that we won't catch up later in the year. We'll just have to wait and see on that. But it is less than 1%. Next category are other tax revenues, $3,436,829. That is $460,000 under what was budgeted, and that's not in one category, it's just kind of spread throughout all of the categories of other taxes. Next is charges for services. We received $1,484,870, and that is $219,000 under what was budgeted, and most of that is from the Register of Deeds. Their fees have come in lower than expected. That could be just a timing issue. That usually corresponds with certain real estate transactions and activity, and that may just be timing. We'll have to wait and see on that one. And our last category is other revenue. We received $2,926,449, and that is $2,005,000 over what was budgeted, and most of that is investment income. As you know, the interest rates have gone up significantly since we budgeted this way back when we budgeted for 2023. So this just shows the where our revenues came from. 88% of our revenues came from property taxes. As you know, the first half of the property taxes are due in December, so they're distributed and we receive them in January. 5% for other taxes, 2% for charges for other for services, and then 5% for other revenue. Next, we'll go to expenditures. Through March 31st, we've either spent or encumbered $33,166,835. That is $929,000 over what was budgeted, and that I really think is primarily a timing issue. I'll go through these individual categories, but we're so early in the year, and a lot of times it depends on when things are encumbered, and especially on large contracts, when those contracts are encumbered can make a significant difference on this. So I really think most all of this is a timing issue. Our first category is law enforcement, and we received spent $15,765,336. That is $1,575,000 over what was budgeted and in the DOC and Sheriff's Office. But there again, I really think this is mostly timing issues, and I think as we go through the year, we will see this level out. Next is recreation. We spent $5,435,192. That is $433,000 under what was budgeted, so a positive variance in that category. Public Works, we spent $3,626,318, and this is just from the general fund. I'll go into more information about Public Works later, but this is just from the general fund, and that is right on budget. Next category, public health. We spent $1,825,125. This is $229,000 under budget. Most of that is from the health department, and that may be what I normally do is when I spread the budget for the year for a department, I look at their history and how much they've spent in each month of that year. With the health department, since we're moving them to the general fund and since we're splitting out the grants, I really don't have that history to do that. So what I've done in this case is I've just spread it evenly throughout the year, and so we're showing that they are under budget by $229,000. That may just be timing issues because of the way I spread the budget. We'll just have to kind of watch that. And then next year, when we get to this next year, then I will have history that I can more accurately predict how much they would spend each month. Does that make sense to you? Okay. So our next category is administrative services. We spent $5,620,703. That is right on budget. And then debt service, we spent $894,161. That is for our first half of the year, our interest only. And that, of course, is right on budget. So this is just a chart that shows the expenditures by the different categories. And here, our pie chart shows 48% of our expenditures were for law enforcement. Recreation is 16%. Public Works, 11%, Public Health, 5%, Administrative Services, 17%, and debt service, 3%. Now, since it's the end of the first quarter, I usually show you what all of the expenditures were for Public Works and Parks and Rec. So for Public Works, they spend money from many sources, and general fund is just one of those sources. Then we have project funds. We have the Willard Bridge Debt Service, Sewer Districts and Townships, Special Equipment Fund, and then Capital Outlay Fund. For the first 3 months of this year, they had spent in total $4,864,920. And then the pie chart shows the percentages spent from each of those funds. Then for Parks and Rec, it's the same thing. They have many funds they have as funding sources also. Their largest is the general fund. Then they have the Parks and Rec revolving fund, the Parks and Rec building maintenance fund. For the first 3 months, they had spent a total of $5,993,576. So, do you have any questions for me?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Betty, if this was the first time that a person from the public was to watch or have any sort of awareness of what Shawnee County spends its money or how it spends its money, and they were just to look at this presentation and they said, in the first quarter of 2022, you had $27,423,549. And then in the first quarter of 2023, you have $32,942,409, an increase of over $5.5 million. What would we tell the public as to what was the reason we had an increase of $5.5 million from last year to this year in the first quarter, or $1.8 million per month?
Well, I would have to say that the primary use of that money is salaries. You know, as we all know, salary increases have just really increased significantly, and as the county, we have had to increase our salaries to, you know, to keep our employees and to hire new employees as needed. So I would say the majority of that has gone to salaries. Another thing is, as we all know, costs have gone up in everything. So the things that the county buys, those costs have increased just like they have for, you know, every taxpayer. So our costs have gone up significantly too.
So this would not necessarily reflect new spending or new projects or things of that nature. It's primarily maintaining the systems that we already have in place.
That's correct. Yeah. I would also mention one other thing that I meant to mention and forgot. For the public watching, you know, they may say, oh, wow, you had 65 million in revenue and you only had 33 million in expenses. We receive the bulk of our revenue twice a year through property taxes. We have received the first half of our property taxes, but we have only had 3 months of expenditures. So that explains that discrepancy too.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
No. Thank you, Betty. What's next?
Item 5, public comment.
I don't have anyone signed up for public. Is there anyone here from the public who would wish to speak at this time? See any? Next item.
Item 6, administrative communications.
Good morning, Tim Laurent, Shawnee County Parks and Recreation. So we're right in the middle of Gerald Binkley tulip time, so if you make your way out to Ward Mead Botanical Gardens for the tulips at twilight, that runs from 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock every night from now until April 23rd. The Tulip Festival at the lake, at Lake Shawnee, will be April 15th. That's from 10 to 3. You can find more information about both of those events on our website, which is parks.snco.us. Also, just wanted to mention that we've got baseball tournaments going at Bettis this weekend, and we've got softball tournaments going at Invista Softball Complex. So we're in full swing here it feels like it anyway. So, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Commissioner Cook?
I might just remind that there is a memorial for former Commissioner Ted Inslee tomorrow. I understand that's going to be at Lake Shawnee, and the memorial will start at 10 o'clock and will be going till 2 o'clock. Commissioner Mays, I understand that you're going to be offering some words in respect of Commissioner Inslee, and about 11 o'clock or thereabouts.
Somewhere around there. Yep.
Okay.
All right. Commissioner Mays, do you have anything?
Well, I was going to mention that, and then also I had the opportunity to attend a ribbon cutting for the new Welcome to Topeka sign out on South Topeka Boulevard. So kind of a neat thing. It's I guess we didn't have a sign that said home of Washburn University anywhere around, and so it was pretty much all privately raised funds to put that together. So that was a part of the Bring Back the Boulevard initiative, and so happy to see that. I think it's a pretty cool deal. So other than that, I don't have anything.
Well, I got to volunteer a couple evenings at Tulip Time, and it was a well-attended event, and tulips looked great. The lighting was spectacular. So if you get a chance to go out and check that out, and at the lake too, we have a great tulip display out there as well. So I would encourage everyone to take advantage of that. Next,
Item 7, executive session.
we do have a need for executive session, so I would like to make a motion to go into executive session for a period not to exceed 20 minutes for the following reasons. For preliminary discussions of the acquisition of real property, we've set aside 10 minutes for that discussion, and for the consultation with an attorney for the public body or agency which would be deemed privileged in an attorney-client relationship, and once again, that's another 10 minutes. No action on these items is expected at this time, and let's head in there in about 9:50. That gives us enough time to do our paperwork. All right.
Second.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Mays. All in favor, say aye. Those opposed, motion carries 3-0. All right. Okay, we're back in session, and no action was taken, so we're adjourned.